Florida tonight. Hours from now, Casey Anthony will be taken in handcuffs to an Orlando courtroom. Now, earlier this week, Casey's lawyer, Jose Baez, filed an objection to the judge's order that Casey must be in court tomorrow. Baez lost that one, so Casey must attend her court hearing tomorrow in person, bright and early, 8:30 a.m. But you are going to Florida right now. Former LAPD homicide detective Mark Furman is on the ground investigating the case. One key piece of information is how close Kaylee's grandparents' house is to the woods where the toddler's remains were found. Watch.
This is, of course, the Anthony home at 4937. We're going to drive from this location to where Kaylee Anthony's body was ultimately found, and you'll actually see just how incredibly close the two locations are. We just left the Casey Anthony, well, the Anthony home. We will probably end up at the location where Kaylee's body was found. We're coming to a stop sign right now. We've only traveled probably a quarter of a mile. It's Suburban Road and Hope Spring Drive. Turning right, and what we're looking at there on the left side is the cyclone fence. It appears to be school property. There's a grade school down there in front of us, about 500 feet. And now we're pulling up to the location where they've left a memorial for Kaylee Anthony. The reason the memorial's here is right to our right. That's exactly where Kaylee Anthony was found. So this is the area that Roy Kronk came to. Now, there's been a dispute. Roy Kronk comes here. He comes here on the 11th, he comes here on the 12th of August, he comes here on the 13th of August with the deputy. The deputy is actually being investigated because why didn't he find anything? The PI for the Anthony family, Dominic Casey, came over here. He didn't find anything. He was within 20 feet of the body by his own admission. So exactly what happened? Well, I want anybody to tell me that they're not going to be able to walk by something in this kind of dense foliage. It happens all the time. It doesn't make any difference how many people came here. It doesn't make any difference. The absolutely coincidental call-in by Roy Kronk. These kind of cases generate that. Sometimes people are lucky. Sometimes people guess. They're not psychics. It's just lucky. It's coincidence. They were all lucky. They were in the right area. Is it not pretty obvious? This is the most undeveloped piece of property closest to the Anthony home. Here we are at the Amscott check cashing facility. This is the facility that on June 27th, Casey Anthony supposedly ran out of gas, either going this direction down Goldenrod or the other driveway on Colonial. This is the intersection of Colonial and Goldenrod. Now, Casey Anthony claims that she ran out of gas and two people assisted her and pushed the vehicle in here. You look at this building, Amscott check cashing. You look at the building. If we get over here a little closer, you see you've got one surveillance camera in the corner. You have another one by the door. You have another one at the corner, another one on the other corner, and two on the other perimeter of the building. There's 6 cameras on the parking lot, but they didn't record Casey Anthony dropping her car off, verifying anybody pushed her into the parking lot, verifying who picked her up, verifying who was in the car with her, what she did. Did she go into the trunk? Didn't she go into the trunk? Anyway, we do know through 2 sources that Anthony Lazaro, her boyfriend, picked her up here. Now, Anthony Lazaro picks her up. The car's ran out of gas. I want you to pan down there. Right there. That's a Chevron gas station. Chevron gas station. Next to that, close to us, is a Sam's Club with several pumps right there. We are surrounded by businesses. Now, doesn't it seem infinitely easier to have Anthony Lazaro take Casey Anthony to the Chevron station, get some gas, come back and retrieve her car? Well, that would seem logical, but that's not what occurred. It stayed here till June 30th when it was impounded by Johnson's Tow. And, of course, the condition of the car remained the same at Johnson's Tow until George Anthony went over there on July 16th and discovered the overwhelming smell of a decomposing body.